Hey everybody, welcome to episode number 6. Yes, this is episode number 6. We've been going for 6 weeks already. So, let's get right to it. We have at Xizta, aka Dom, is back from the fabulous vacation land. Dom, how was your week?
Oh, sorry. I thought I was still on vacation.
It's bright. It's okay.
Oh, the world is so bright. Um, my vacation was awesome. Went to Disney World. Disney World is a big bullshit of Starbucks now.
Starbucks? Who
Disney sold
doesn't love a
out.
Starbucks?
Me.
I
Disney
love
sold
it.
out.
They sold out.
Starbucks on every corner inside Disney World.
Sounds like heaven to me. Sounds like heaven.
Teach
Huffity
down.
Puffity, aka Murloc Mounter, doesn't know her own Twitter handle. What is going on with you this week?
Do I need to change the lower third for your handle? You
No.
you tweeted out a different one today.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. That's actually kind of been kind of my week, a little bit. Especially today. I'm very derpy today.
I'm
Hmm.
wondering, can we get her new Twitter handle, Murloc Mounter, lower third for next week? Is that possible?
I can, yes.
Okay,
I'll give you a new updated at Murloc Mounter for B.
that's
Does that mean
perfect.
that I have to have that drawing done by then?
Well, we've waited 3 weeks, so yes.
It's. You can't rush artwork. Can't.
I can.
Not that kind of artwork. Can't.
I mean, just go watch Dom draw. You might pick up a couple tips and tricks along the way.
You're funny.
Well, I just got in today. Had a
And
great
boy, are
weekend.
my arms tired.
Yes, they are. Flew in from New York. Oh, it rained all weekend at my sister's wedding, but it was a great wedding. Had a good time.
I am gonna say the one part of the coming back from the trip is so I landed in Florida and I was like, oh my God, what is wrong with the air here? It's like thick,
Yes.
and I'm just like, this is awful. And then after the first day, I didn't notice it
Oh, it's
at
so
all.
amazing. I love it here.
And oh, the weather was just so nice, and like it would occasionally it would like rain just out of the blue for nowhere for like 10 minutes, and then the sun was back out, and it's just like surprise random rain showers. And I love the rain, so that
Yeah,
was
they're
fine by me.
nice. They're nice.
But and then I get on the plane and come back home. I got back in last Thursday night. And well, it was Thursday afternoon, but by the time I got home, it was Thursday night. But Thursday afternoon, we landed, and I'm like, "Where's my jacket?" It was in the middle of the afternoon, and I'm like, "Where's my jacket?" In the summer, mind you.
So let me tell you about how cold it was in New York. It was 61 degrees. It probably dropped to about 54 during the reception. So I had my bungee sweatshirt with me. I've got my nice white button-up dress shirt on. You know, I'm looking good. And I was like, yeah, it's a little cold. Let me throw my bungee shirt on and go dance on the dance floor. Oh, yeah. Everybody was like, how the hell are you not dying? And I was like, I don't know. I feel like I'm in Florida again. It's nice. Your weather sucks. I'm never coming back here.
Don't say never, but
I
but
have to go
yeah,
back there. My family's there.
yeah, exactly. Uh, I want to move to Florida. I'm not even kidding. So
Hey, like I told you, free
Isn't that what
room
we're
and
talking
board
about? That's where
here.
the gaming house is going to be now. That's
I've
fine.
got the room. Well, this week, everybody, we are going to talk about Warlords of Draenor. What we thought about it, how we feel about it, where it started, and where it ended. So, first thing we're going to do this week is we're going to start with Jake's video first, because I think it's a good lead-in. So we're going to go with Jake's video. We're gonna go ahead and hit this up.
awesome.
Let's take a break with the Jakeinator.
Hello, gentlefolks. This is I, Jakinator, and I have a question to you guys. Or maybe it's more of a rant. Next to Wrath of the Lich King, Warlords of Draenor was among the most hyped expansions ever, raising the subscriber count way up high, only to drop to the groundbreaking low numbers we currently have active, and is regarded by many of my friends as the worst expansion of yet. So what went wrong? And what did we like to see, but we didn't? Things that pop to mind is the teased Farallon that would be the Netherstorm in our Outland, and the Ogre Kingdom to the south that we saw at BlizzCon. And although the story while leveling was amazing, the endgame contents by both the expansion and the patches was quite lackluster. Not to mention the mental chains keeping us in our garrisons, as there was not much to do out in the open world. Truth be told, I kinda miss doing dailies, as in proper dailies, instead of just grinding a bar full, as the previous dailies we had story and had meaning to it and felt more impactful. So, we've been going into the Nether for a while. Now I would like to get out of it. Jakinator, out up and away! Ouch! That was a roof! Oh no, 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 no! Oh, that hurt. Oh. What the hell? What are you doing? Get away from my body! Oh, stop setting me on fire! What do you think it... Oh, and now he's draining my soul. Oh well, I guess I'm a ginger now. See you next week. Checking it out and toasty. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel at Yakubes2 right here, so you can see these videos before they air. Checking it out.
Muted. Mute.
Mute is a good thing.
So, Jake's rant / question. I think the favorite part of my video is when he said he was a ginger because he lost his soul.
Yeah. I'm going to have to agree with him. The disappointing parts of Farallon, was Farallon and the Ogre area that they talked about that we never got. I was really hoping somehow, some way that we were going to see what a female ogre actually looked like in game, and what better place for that to be than the place of origin for the ogres, but we never got to see it. So
How do we know? Maybe they all look the same.
that is true.
Regardless if they look the same, it was super disappointing because they talked about the Ogre Kingdom and they talked about Farallon and not getting it this expansion, and just that was a big slap in the face as a player, you know. And I've told B this, as sad as this is to say, I'm not a fan of Cataclysm, but I now rank Cataclysm up there pretty high as far as content goes. There was a lot of content packed into that, especially for all the retooling of the world they did, and, you know, re-imaging it and making it look better. Man, I'm telling you, I feel like we got shortchanged. You know, I bought in collector's edition. I feel like I got stiffed.
Well, the thing is, I think moving forward, you're going to probably expect about the same content as Draenor. If they're going to be pumping out an expansion every year, because Draenor was a year.
It was a year, but I don't agree with the year model. They need to go back to a 2-year model where they actually have time to work on stuff. The raids were amazing, but the rest of the content was lackluster. I guess let's start with garrisons. What are your guys' thoughts on garrisons? Because I thought they were amazing at first, and then I hated being locked in my garrison. I felt like I was doing chores every day playing a game I love so much.
I didn't have, like, at first, you're right. I was in the same, I didn't have a problem with them at first. I'm like, oh, this is different, you know, this is fun. Let me build up my little world over here. But yeah, it was, you're in your own little world. It's like, oh, okay, so I'm gonna hang out in my corner, and then with the professions, I think is what got me the most. I felt like it was kind of worthless. I'm like, okay, so I'm like, oh, I specifically, because I'm on any server that I'm on, I make sure that I have every profession I possibly can, so that I am 100% self-sufficient. At this point, it was like, okay, I don't need to make myself anything, really. I'm like, oh, well, I can level, I'm like, oh, well, I'll get all this mats so I can level up my necklace, or, this and that. But at the same time, it was like, I did it a little bit, but then it dropped off because I got something better in Raid, and I was like, whatever. So yeah, so I felt like professions were kind of worthless with the garrison.
Yeah, I mean, with the garrisons, it started off fun, and I was like, oh, we need a mobile app with garrisons, and I can go on my phone and oh, my missions, like, how cool would that been? But then I started getting really sick of them, and I stopped doing them. It's like I'm capped out on resources. I've been capped out at like 10,000 resources. Like it was like shortly after the shipyard was built or whatever. I had none because I had just spent them on like rush ordering the ships and like all this stuff. I was blowing through my resources and changing the like, oh, let me switch this to put lights on my boat to take care of the fog. And I kept buying these things to swap them out for every mission I was doing, and I was at no garrison resources. And then I was like, well, this is dumb. So I stopped doing them, and a week later I was capped again. So it's just like, I don't know, the whole thing, it needs to be done better. I'm glad they're not carrying over into Legion. And the class hall system is similar, but it seems very vastly improved. So I'm all for that.
Yeah, I'm really glad the changes are coming with the class hall because I think it's a good way to go. I don't know, Dom, imagine if we had actually gotten a mobile app from Blizzard. Who the hell would have logged into the game? Oh, I can do. Alright, guys, I'm logging on.
Why am I in Pandora?
I mean, I think that's real talk. I think that's a reason why they didn't do that, is because that was one of the main reasons to log into the game, was to do your garrison stuff. So if you were able to do that from your phone, honestly, how many people would log on?
Nobody. You would have logged in for Raid, and that would have been it. And it's already stifled at that. Most of us just log in to Raid, and then we're done for the week. It's over.
I'm in that boat.
There's really nothing else for us to do.
I should buy on that Raid earlier. I go play Diablo or something.
Diablo, Hearthstone, Heroes,
Mario Maker,
Dragon Age, Destiny. I mean, we've all had different addictions this expansion, and they've kind of pulled us from the game, and that's kind of one of the first times I've been literally just pulled away because I was so bored with this game. Alright, so with garrisons out of the way, oh, can you just hand that through the screen to me? And I'll just, yeah. Okay, push the A button for me.
Okay, this is something, because we're talking about the model, the 1 year, 2 year, whatever. I think it would be to continue with it. If you want to go back to the 2 year, if they continue to give us stuff to do, that's one thing, and little raids or whatever. But there was something else. If they do choose to go back to that route, the span time between those raids, they do give us extra raids. Bringing back, I love Wrath of the Lich King. It's still my favorite. It will always be my favorite expansion. But there was an issue when they brought out Ulduar, and especially with those that were trying to make the mace. By the time that the first round of people were getting their mace, they brought out the next raid. So then no one wanted to do Ulduar anymore, and they moved on to the next raid, and everyone was like, well, what about my mace? Well, they're like, fuck your mace.
Well,
so
I 100% agree with you. I do. The 2 year model is the best for them because the only problem we've had in the past, like you said, was the raids dropping. I think they did a good job this expansion at pacing the raids, and that's something I think they've learned through all the expansions. Through a 2 year model, they just need to make sure that we're not stuck in Siege of Orgrimmar for 1 year and about 4 months. That's way too long. They need to realize, hey, we got to have something else here. I mean, in Wrath, they threw us Ruby Sanctum. It really didn't mean jack all, but it was it was a little precursor, but it fed the raiders. It fed the raiders. It was a new raid, 10 and 25 man. You were able to do it on heroic, and it gave you something different to do every week, so you weren't going back to ICC to kill the Lich King for the 9,455th time.
Well, even in vanilla, we had a large variety of raids. We had our opening tier was Molten Core and Onyxia, but even before that, we had like Upper Blackrock Spire. Though it was a dungeon, it was tuned around 15 people. In this dungeon, they changed it. As the expansion went on, or as the game went on, I should say, because it wasn't an expansion. But as the game went on, it went from 15 down to 10, down to 5. They really started changing it around. We had Stratholme and Skullomance. They were originally 40-men raids that got tuned down to 15. They got tuned down to 10. They got tuned down to 5. Same ordeal there. But then after you had Molten Core and Onyxia, who were on the same tier, you had Ragnaros, who would drop the tier 2 legs. I think they changed that at some point. I don't remember. But then you went into Blackwing Lair, and you had the whole new tier in Blackwing Lair. And then you had, after Blackwing Lair, you had AQ. And then between that, there was ZG, 20-man raid. There was AQ 20, 20-man raid. There was AQ 40, which was an in-between raid. This was a massive raid. This thing was huge. And it was considered tier 2.5, right? And then there was tier 3, which was Naxxramas, which was the biggest raid of the expansion and the least completed raid in the expansion. I think it was literally like less than 1% of guilds killed bosses in Naxxramas. So, I don't know, there was so much content, and that was a 2-year release. It was 2 years between that and Burning Crusade.
So I guess we're on raids, so I want to go ahead and hit this up. Now, so the first raid we went into, I always forget the name of it. I don't know why.
High Mall.
High Mall. So we went into High Mall, and I think one of the things that kind of, as far as the fights were good mechanically. The fights were sound. There was fun mechanics. But what I absolutely hated, Kargath Bladefist was the first person we killed, and he's one of the warlords. I think that was such a huge mistake at the rate we were killing the warlords off in these raids. I just don't understand it. Like, those are the big baddies of the expansion, and we're just gonna, hey, Kargath, you're garbage.
I mean, I don't think it was so bad that we killed him first. The problem was we killed all the rest of them in quests. I think that was the issue.
There was, a lot of it wasn't even raids. Yeah. That was a thing, because they made it out to so these are your big bads, though. I mean, obviously we'll learn later they really weren't their big bads, but that's the way they presented it. And then it was like, okay, so one of them is in the raid, everyone else is no.
Yeah, I mean the artwork, like behind B right there, or wherever she is, she's down.
It's somewhere over there.
She's in the corner. Yeah, there you go. That
she's
way.
Down there. I feel like the fucking Scarecrow in The Wizard of Oz. So, like, the promo was the Warlords. Like, the title of the expansion is the Warlords of Draenor. So, I thought they were going to be a little more involved and badass in dealing with fighting them than we actually did. Like, yeah, we took care of... I understand you got to get rid of a couple in the quest line. You got to give the easy, accessible content, whatever. You could just do one. You could even run into the rest of them and have them introduced the way the Lich King was in Wrath of the Lich King. Like, he was involved in all the quests. Like, you're doing quests in Zul'Drak. He's out there, and he's in the Borean Tundra. Like, he's all over the place. But like, you could have done that with the Warlords here, and then dealt with every single one of them in the raid too. But we dealt with how many in raid? 2.
Kargath and I mean,
I
don't really
tackle
and Blackhand.
Yeah.
Those are the ones you actually only kill.
And Gul'dan, but
yeah,
you don't really, but yeah.
Well, I mean, I guess like you said, it was between questing and the raids that kind of killed the feel for me, and then the change where all of a sudden Grommash Hellscream isn't the bad guy at the end. where did that come from? And that came very quickly and swiftly, and they really never explained it. You know, they explained it through the story why he decided to change. He didn't want the demon blood, the other ones did, but still, like, what happened? You know, there was a lot of moving pieces in these raids, you know, and there was a lot of story there, but yeah,
Oh,
Kilrog.
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 Yeah.
So, I mean, there's just, I don't know. I didn't like how it was paced in the raids. I don't think, I would have liked it better if we would have got to the very last raid into Hellfire Citadel, and that's where we would have been fighting the Warlords. I think that would have been fitting because those were the uber bad guys.
I would have liked to see an encounter where they all came together. You know, like the ones that
council fight?
everybody,
That would've been
yeah,
interesting.
like the ones that everybody hates, like the PvP fight in Trial of the Grand Crusade.
Oh my
That's
God.
a fun fight. I love
That
that.
was,
Every-
that was.
You know, I would love to see something like that where they just all run in and you're like, what? But then I guess tuning that around 10 people would be a little ridiculous. So
Oh man,
Kinda
that would
lose
have been
something in
hilarious
that.
though.
see, that's the other problem
Crazy
is
fight.
these raid sides. Like I like the flexibility because I've run into it myself where, you know, we have a good 20-ish players, you know, whatever, and we were getting close to, like, not that we were going to do Mythic, but we're getting close to the Mythic raid size, you know, 25 people. But we were sitting, you know, like 21, 22 people, you know, on a good night. And, you know, our raid size now has dropped and it's floating around 11, 12, which is completely fine. But I feel like there's something missing in terms of the rating where you have to scale to flexibility. You like, so basically they have to tune the raids for 10 man and then work up from there, because the encounter has to be doable for 10 people. So like, a good example is the 4 horsemen fight from Naxxramas. When you did that at level 60, you needed, you know, it was a 40-man raid. You needed 8 tanks to actually be able to maneuver this encounter around. And it was just the crazy rotation, everything that was going on. And then when it came down to Wrath of the Lich King, and it was dropped down to, you know, a 10-man raid, I'm like, what? How? I couldn't wrap my mind around how you would possibly do this when it required, you know, 8 tanks. So I'm like, even if it only required 4 tanks, 1 for each, that leaves 6 people. And I'm like, you need at least 2 healers. So you're only going to have 4 and I was like, I couldn't wrap my head around it, you know, whatever. And I feel like the encounter lost something. It was definitely the most challenging encounter in the game, I thought. In terms of getting the raid to work mechanically as one unit. But I feel like it lost something in translation. So now every boss fight you're thinking of, you can't do anything crazy like that anymore. Like, you have to tune it around the fact that you only have 2 tanks. You know, in Mythic, they could kind of get away with that and be like, oh, we need a 3rd tank. They could do things like that. But for the normal raids, I don't know, it feels like they're very limited in scope.
Well, they are, and they've come out and said it. That's the reason, you know, Mythic is Mythic. You have to have 20 people. You have to have certain classes for certain encounters, and they did that intentionally because they wanted to put those crazy mechanics back in, and they wanted to be able to change it up and do it how they really foresaw the fight. And yeah, they have to tune it to a you know, as small as 10 people, and that makes it difficult, like you said.
I honestly just miss the days of 1 difficulty, though. Like, 1 difficulty. Your raid is your raid, and that's it. There's no, let's do it on normal, and then let's switch over and kill 2 bosses on heroic, and then come back and do it on normal. I hate that. I hate that more than anything. Like, they're so worried about everybody wanting to see the content. That's what LFR is for, right?
Yeah, but
Do
LFR
LFR,
is so
keep
bad.
LFR, yeah, whatever, but keep LFR as LFR. That's the easy content. We don't need normal, heroic, and mythic on top of it.
No,
No.
and I think I would like to see them go back to more of a Wrath of the Lich King. LFR, leave it there, like you said, big deal. Let the people go in who don't have the time to invest or just don't want to play at that level. Go do that. But I would like to just see heroic and mythic, or you call it normal and mythic now, whatever. you know, because that gives you your two different tiers.
So you want to go back to double rating? I remember.
Not necessarily
on normal,
double rating.
just
I
do it on
don't
heroic.
want to do double rating, and I don't
I
want to
already
have
feel
the
we're
ability
doing
to
double
switch it back
rating.
and forth.
I already
I
feel
would-
we're doing double rating with normal and heroic, because there's nights where we go in on normal and we kill, or we'll start on heroic rather. We'll go in and we'll clear the first 4 or 5 bosses on heroic, and then we'll switch over and we'll do like the tail end of normal for set pieces and stuff that people are missing. But like, I don't want to do all this jumping around to difficulty. I just want the one dungeon. Like,
No,
I don't know.
I mean, I want it to be normal and mythic. I'm fine with that, but I want it to be locked in. You're gonna choose one difficulty, and that's what you're gonna raid at. Once you go zone in, that's your raid lockout for the week. There is no, well, let's go to this boss and we're gonna do him on mythic because we know we can beat him. Let's
but
just
all
throw
work.
that away. Let's be done with that. Like Dom said, give people options still, but just lock it in. That way there's not, well, I've got to do this and I got to do this. And hey guys, we're doing normal this week and we're going to go push as hard as we can. We're going to learn these fights until we know them. And then when we're done with this, we'll go to mythic. But until
'cause
then, it's normal.
The whole thing with the flex system is to get more people involved and to have a flexible group, whatever. I don't think it's necessary. Like, yeah, it's cool to be able to have, but there should be, because it just feels like we're doing Wrath of the Lich King all over again. But instead of a 10 and 25, you have a 25 and a however many fucking people you have.
Well, okay, so look
And then
at
there's
this.
just another additional difficulty on that. So it's Wrath of the Lich King all over, but now there's 3 difficulties, and 3 times you could run the thing a week instead of the 2.
How many guilds have we lost this expansion? How many major guilds have we lost this expansion due to the raid content?
Can we
See,
bring it
I was
back?
gone when all this was going down, like all the announcements. I was relaxing in
Now-
Disney World and drinking Starbucks and whatever. But
Yeah,
my
apparently method is done. I got a tweet from B, so
They're not done. Now let's say so. They're not done. They just said that the raid team for I don't know. I'll remember all the details. That the raid leader has decided to step away and make another guild, and most of the raid team is following. I believe they're calling it Serenity.
Mhm.
But the guild leader of Method has stated that he is not giving up, that they're just going to start another team, but they're going to do their best, but it may not be what it was.
okay, so is that some inner turmoil, possibly due to
Sounds like
mechanics
it.
of fights and mythic and not being able, some players just not playing at that level anymore, or is that just they decided to go their separate ways?
Who knows? Not all the
It sounds
details.
like some kind of internal.
It is an
drama.
internal thing of some sort, which
Yeah.
happens.
I
You
mean,
get that many
what
people together, shit happens.
we saw Burning Legions break. Is it Burning Legion? No, what is it? Oh God, Ragnaros, Ragnaros from RBL.
Mhm.
The Blood Legion, yeah, they're on. I forget what server they're on, but they're done raiding this expansion. We've lost several big name guilds that have stepped away. Trekkie's another huge player who stepped into a different guild for he didn't want to continue to do that pace. So
Right.
I mean, I think the raiding, I think the mechanics were good, and I think their intentions were good, but I think a lot of the fights were still overtuned.
Yeah.
Well, like-
I mean, but like Trekkie, just look at like Trekkie stepping away, and it's a little different one person. Like you can't, like, Trekkie's like one of the more well known within like the people, the WoW podcasting community and stuff like that, because he was involved in Legendary and stuff
Yes.
like that. So a lot of people can relate and recognize Trekkie immediately because they're just like, oh, I saw him. He was on Legendary a bunch of times.
Hey, that guy.
Yeah, so everybody really relates to him. But like, I used to be what would be now considered, mythic raider. I was a hardcore world US 8 guild, whatever, back in vanilla WoW. So I was on that hardcore end of the spectrum, and as much as I feel like the desire and the need for it, and I'm just like, oh, I want to be the best, and I got to do all this stuff. I realistically look at it, and I'm just like, no.
Well, then that was
No.
something they said, that as life changes, is what was going on between a lot of people, is that,
Right.
People, they grow up, they, start families, they do other stuff, and that's what's been happening, is that people are not having the time that they could before to put in that kind of life, because it's different. When you decide you're a hardcore raider, that's what you do. You know, if you have a side job or whatever, you come home and you're on there. You're raiding every night. I used to raid 5 nights a week. That's all I did. I come home and I raid. And so it's a lifestyle that you have to deal with. And, you know, eventually you get burned out. You're just like, okay, I want the game to be fun and not be a job anymore. And that's...
I went from raiding in a casual guild that was raiding Friday, Saturday, Sunday to a hardcore guild that raided Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. We had Saturday and Sunday off, but that was like our alt raids, because we were also kind of required to have a decently geared alt to swap in for different things. So, you know, that started out with me. I had, you know, my rogue, but then I needed to have like either a healer or a range class as a backup. Or the other option was tank, and I had nothing at that level. So I leveled a mage and a priest or whatever. So I had both going, and every weekend I was going in on my 2 alts, and so I literally was raiding 7 days a week back then.
No, yeah. I mean, you know, Wrath and Kata with the guild I was with on Zul'jin, we were raiding 4 nights a week. I was literally trading days off with people and working for them so they would work for me so I could get my raid nights off as a healer. Yeah. It's a grind.
I mean, I also, in my casual guild, mind you, I had a composition notebook full of, we were a guild of 500 people. I had at least 100 different username and passwords for my guild in a composition notebook for classes. You know, here's all the shaman, and it's like, here's everybody's account name, you know, their password or whatever. And we would go on and it's like, oh guys, we're short a healer tonight, and I'd be like, shaman? Yeah, okay, I'll log on a shaman. And I would log on a shaman, I'd heal. Like, that's literally what I did. Because it got to the point where my rogue was completely geared out. I needed absolutely nothing, you know, from what we were doing, and we couldn't progress because it was 40-man raiding. So you only get 4 drops, and, you know, the whole raids needs gear to be on par with each other. So we had a catch-up system, and because 40 men, you know, it's difficult to get the same 40 people every night to, you know, week by week to show up. That's what I was doing to help people who couldn't make it every weekend, you know, and I'd go in. So it's like, oh, our shaman Xanto needs, you know, he's missing 2 more pieces for his set, you know, but, oh, he can't make it. He has a wedding or whatever to go to this weekend. I'll log on, I'll play his character. Stuff like that you can't do anymore.
No,
you know, especially you can't do account sharing, and they've really cracked down on that kind of stuff now. But it was kind of frowned upon back then. But yeah.
All right, enough of the bad about the raids. Favorite fight, Dom, in the raids. Favorite fight and why?
In this expansion, right?
In this expansion.
I enjoy. I'm so bad with names. It's the second to last fight in the new raid. It's not Archimonde.
Second to last is
Manaroth, yes.
Manaroth, yeah.
Manaroth.
Yes. I like Manaroth. Just because it's kind of cool. I like the different phases and different things. Everybody's got like their own little job to do, and like it's the range range clear out the infernals, you know, melee anybody else who's available, clear out the imps. If you're standing in the wrong spot, if this person's doing something wrong, it's going to create extra puddles, and I really, really like that fight. It was one of those ones where it clicked for me right away, but, you know, the raid itself as a whole, it took a while for the synergy to get down, and now it's a one-shot for us, you know, a normal, whatever. But it was one of those ones where it's like, oh, it's either going to be a one-shot or it's going to take 10 attempts, you know, it depends. But, you know, as the synergy... Yeah, as the synergy came in...
Depending on what we had, and, like, do we have enough range, and...
Yeah. Now that should be B's favorite fight too, because that's when she's cleared to shoot barrage all she wants, and just shoot everything without pulling a million mobs.
There's some other fights that I can barrage on fine.
B, favorite fight and why?
Mine's more not about, you know, mechanics and stuff, but it was about Hans and Franz. purely because of our own within the us, in Mumble being ridiculous and making jokes and Dom getting sick. And
So yeah, little preface on that is back when we were doing BlackRock Foundry, we had this thing. Anytime we died as an individual or anytime we wiped as a group, it was only a couple of us that were playing. It was not the whole raid, but we would take shots.
Oh God.
And I was taking shots of Fireball every time we died, and so we would start on like the Orgorger wing and Groll, whatever that, and then but we would this was when we were first learning the place, mind you. So there would be a couple of wipes there, especially in Orgorger, and stuff like that. So then we'd come in, Hans and Franz would be next, and I'd be 7-8 shots deep, at that point. And mind you, maybe a little bit more because I died on trash and various things like that. But minimum 7-8 shots, and then we go and do Hans and Franz, and I have motion sickness to begin with, so like I can't read or use like text message whatever in the car. Like I start getting like nauseous, but like so there's that, and then the Hans and Franz and the conveyor belts go, and there's like that one little couple seconds. I don't want to say 1 second, but there's that one part at the beginning, a couple seconds where you can't tell if your character's moving or if the room's moving.
Yes.
It's just like it's this really weird part when the floor starts going in the conveyor belts, and all of a sudden, the room just started spinning, and I was like,
Were you streaming while this happened?
No, not at that point. This was before I was streaming every night, whatever. And I'm just like, oh my God, I feel it. And I'm literally, I'm on the keyboard. I'm going. Like, that's how I was doing. I wasn't even looking at the screen because I couldn't. I was going to puke. And, like, I would just look out of the corner of my eye. Okay, I'm still on the guy. Oh, he jumped or, whatever. And then I'd go find him and shadow step, whatever. So it was awful. And then the whole rest of the raid that night, the room was still spinning. It was like that one thing just set it off, and I was so sick the rest of that raid. And it's like I won't do it. Like I'm not that. I never did the take shots again after that night. I didn't puke. Did not puke, mind you, but I felt disgusting for the next day and a half. It hit me.
Oh God.
So yeah.
See, those are the moments I love raiding, is when you have things like that, stupid, ridiculous.
That's what makes this game so special, though, is because we do have those moments as raid teams. We're with our friends and we're being silly and we're being stupid, and even when Thill's yelling at us to be serious, we're still not serious. Yes,
I'm.
You're not serious. No, you can't even stand still in raid.
Like
You
Lucky
can't even
Charms.
stand still.
Like Lucky Charms, I'm cereal.
I'm Virage and shit.
Yeah. So my favorite fight of this expansion came in High Mall. It came in the first raid, and it was the Tectus fight, because it was a tank's dream of a fight. As a Guardian Druid, I loved it because I was responsible for the big baddie, and then he dissolved into the three or the 2 ads, and then you DPS them down, and they break into 4 more. It's a tanking fight. If the tank screwed up the fight, you were done. Now DPS could still wipe you. Don't get me wrong. Run in the cloud, the red plumes of death. If they ran it behind the tank, I used to get so mad. I used to scream, just scream. Because
I remember I would go into like pug groups and stuff on like because we hadn't really started working on heroics yet, and I was like geared out at normal. I was ready to do some heroics. And I remember going in and doing Tectus, and I was like #1 DPS by like a huge margin. And I'm not talking about LFR. I'm talking about just like looking for group, whatever, in the heroics. Raid. Yeah, looking for raid, and that's LFR.
No, they're still looking for group tool, looking for raid tool.
Yeah,
I still call it LFR, not out. But you're talking about heroic. You were searching for the specific heroic raid.
Yeah, and I'm #1 DPS by a huge margin, and there's people that are just dead. This one falling over, this one falling over, this one, and I'm just like, what is going on? And it's like this guild that I just jumped in with, they don't know what they're doing. I've never done it on heroic. Granted, we cleared it on normal or whatever, but if they're doing it on heroic, I would assume they did too.
You would
And I'm
hope,
just
right?
like, what is going on? And I didn't like or dislike that fight. I just remembered like that one group sticks out in my mind. It's like, how are people this bad?
No, and yeah, I mean, people. I think the looking for group tool brought some baddies to the raids. Really,
Mm,
really bad. I mean, like I said, I would scream during Tectus because I would sit there and be like, okay, if you get the smoke, you go left. If you get the other debuff, you go right. The mountain, where to create the big mountain, like, go right. Split up and put them where they're supposed to be, and I'll keep rotating around the room. And if I rotate into red smoke, I'm going to fuck you up. Plain and
right.
simple. Like, I'm doing my job as a tank. Do your job. You just literally, hunters kill me. Because hunters have this amazing thing called disengage. And they'd be like, oh, I'm going to run right through the tank. Hit your disengage button, fly backwards, and run left. It's not
Unless
hard,
you
but for some
disengage
reason,
off the
people
side of-
couldn't figure it out. I mean, let's see. So,
I disengage at red
hunters
fronts.
have disengage, mages have blink, shaman have ghost wolf form, rogues have shadow step, druids have.
Is Shadow Step still talented?
Is it still talented or no?
I don't know. I have it, but I can't remember if it's talented or not. If
Druids
not,
have
if
Displacer
if
Beast.
if it is talented and you don't
That's
have it,
talented.
you're doing it wrong.
Regardless if it's talented or not, though, you can change your talents on the whip for a fight with a tome. It's very
You're
simple.
asking too much of stupid people.
But that's not asking too much. That's a mechanic of the game. That's a very basic mechanic
Well,
of the game. Are you
yes,
telling
but
me?
you're
Then go back to
asking too much
LFR
of
where
a
you fucking
stupid-
belong. Go back to LFR where you belong. Stay out of my heroic raid and stop wasting my time.
Pretty
All
much.
right.
Remember
So
when
since
we
we're
did
here,
the-
let's transition. And this is something I was very, very disappointed in raiding. We're still talking about raids. So when I came back from my deployment, I had missed about 6 months of raiding. Within the first week, I was 660 geared. I was rocking it. I was looking for raid every day, getting myself geared, learning the mechanics, watching boss fights. So I knew what I was doing. Imp Margok at the time. Now you tell me how I take a 20-man pug into heroic Imp Margok that only 8% of the WoW player base had killed, and I'm able to take a pug group with about 15 attempts and kill him. To me, that was the start of the downfall of the looking for group / looking for raid tool. I should never, ever be able to walk into an end boss fight and down it with a pug group, who half the people aren't even on Mumble with us. So you're explaining through chat and Mumble, and you guys know how many mechanics are in that fight. It's not a joke. There's 4 phases, and if one person screws up, or they kill the ghost too quick, or they pop a bubble, or they step in the circle traps, you're screwed. If they don't kill the 2 mages in the back that are just tagging everybody, you're screwed. If your tank dies because your healers aren't paying attention, and that dude with the hammers just come out and wailing in the group,
Yeah.
how the
I mean,
hell?
I feel that fight was a little overtuned for when it came out, because it seemed like most guilds did what we did and cleared 6 out of 7. I think it was 6 out of 7 high mall, and then went on to heroic, and then cleared 6 out of 7 on heroic, and then went back to normal to kill it. And that seems broken to me if you have to do it that way. So.
Well, I agree. I mean, in normal, I think it was overtuned, but I'm talking about killing it on heroic mode for my ahead of the curve achievement.
Yeah.
Like, that's just Blizzard has got to do something how they set these groups up. Pugs should not be able to just walk into an end boss like that. I'm sorry. I don't care where you got your gear from, because as we all know, garrisons, guess what? Everybody ground gear out through garrisons.
I mean, I got my achievement in a pug group, so I'm not complaining because I wouldn't have had the achievement otherwise. But on the same token, it took me countless amounts of pug groups to be able to do that. It's not like I went in and queued up and got in my pug group on the first shot. I maybe did 50 separate pug groups until I finally killed it. And I was not like the kind that would bail on one attempt and leave.
And that's
like
the
I
problem
would stick
with
it out until the group fell apart every time.
How many pugs just leave after 1 or 2 wipes?
A bunch.
Oh, I'm
A
not
lot.
going to be here. Go ahead, B.
It's because people. Oh no. It's because the way it's usually been this way for quite a while. It's not just recent, especially since LFR started. Is people just want gear handed to them, so they no longer have that I don't even want to call it, that ability to bang their head against to bang their head against the wall for hours on the same boss. Any hardcore raider has been there, done that 1,000 times, and it's a walk in the park, and they know how it works. So these new raiders that come in, or new players or whatever, or the ones that have decided that they no longer do that or want to do that or whatever, who knows the amount of people what they think goes through their head. They just want the gear. They don't want to take the time. They don't want to take the effort. I just want the gear. Fuck doing it. Well, it doesn't work like that. Sometimes you got to bang your head against the wall for a few hours to get what you want. So, and then they're like, no.
Here's my thing. If that's how players are going to be, and that is the majority of players who use the looking for group tool, looking for raid, whatever you want to call it, that is those players. So don't put heroic in there. Don't allow us to do heroic that way. Heroic is supposed to be completely separated on a whole nother level, just under mythic. Leave it at that, because now you're diluting the achievement of getting a heroic kill completely. What did that ahead of the curve achievement mean to any of us? I didn't feel like in this tier, in any of the tiers, that I didn't feel like I did when I killed Arthas. And that is my matching point for rating. If I feel like I did when I killed Arthas, the end bad guy, in any of the raids, then they did a good job. I think the raids mechanically were well designed. I think they were beautiful. But there wasn't that drive there where I have to kill this guy. And then that excitement of just my guild after we killed him, it was amazing. The euphoria you get from that major kill. I didn't feel that.
These end bosses are not... obviously Lich King it's lore. Very heavy, so it's like it's a big deal. I know that's going to be a little bit with these. You're not going to have that same drive in that case either.
For me, I think what it is you're looking at it from the raid group perspective, and you want your guild to do it, and you want it to be this community thing where it comes. And I feel like that's a big thing that's gotten away from WoW, is the community aspect. Coming together and doing things.
Mom said we have to move on.
Yeah, and
but
Jake's.
But you also got to remember going into these pug groups and stuff like that. You're going into a group with all different people, but I can guarantee you, all these people, this isn't their first attempt on it when you clear it. So it's just, instead of you doing it, working on it, for 50 plus hours collectively, together, to do this one boss, everybody's done it maybe that amount of times just individually. So, and it's just clicking to find that one pug group that works, where everybody knows what's going on. So, I don't know. I wish we could get back to the community aspect of WoW instead of the pugs. But yeah.
First off, Thaedrus, I will not disagree until you learn to spell my name correctly. You're as bad as B now.
What?
Secondly,
you mean with my own?
Yeah. Secondly, let's talk about community this expansion. Was there a community? Did they harbor that community? Did they help it grow? Did they nurture it? What do you guys think? I don't think it's there right now. I think we've lost community.
At the same point that looking for dungeon, looking for group tool, whatever it is, kind of helps build a little bit of sense of community, because there are people that I've added onto my list after bumping into a few different times, doing various things. They're like, hey, oh, it's you again. So we chatted. I have them on my BattleNet, whatever, and we talk still and do stuff. And now we play Hearthstone, and so there's still different ways to get that community. It's just because of the way the realms are set up, where they're like integrated into each other, where phasing, all that, it makes it harder for like a server to stand out and be like, oh, I know this guy and this guy and this guy. And it's just like you go around and do stuff, and there's people from like 30 different servers all over the place, and I don't even know what server I'm on half the time. And it's at the point where I don't even know why we have servers anymore. But in the same regard, like, you see people coming together and that looking for group tool because it's like, oh, I want to kill Night Howl and get the mount, whatever. It's hard sometimes to find like a group on the server that's willing to do that, but in the looking for group tool, you can get that, and you get that community sense because people will be like, oh, well, this person was first, so okay, so I'm in this. There's 10 people before me, and then the part that I respected the most out of it is you would see people that waited there through 10 people, and they didn't bail as soon as they got their mount. A couple people here and there did. But you would have a couple people that would stay, and go, oh, I'll stay for 2 more fights after that, and help people out. Or I'll stay for 5 more. There was one guy that stayed for, he was the first one in the group that got it. And he stayed through until every single one of the original members of the group got it.
That's awesome. I wanna point out Draven. He made a good point and a good comment. He said there was a great community this X-Pack. I had people to do stuff and get me gear the whole time. Okay, sure, they weren't real people, but still. And that's where I'm at. Like, besides you guys, when I log on, if I'm going to do something, yeah, I look for group tool, which I think is very good, because like you said, you find those groups that it's hard to find on your server. But at the same time, I don't talk to them, during Kata, during Wrath, during BC. I was in all the major cities. Hey, looking for group 5-man. We're gonna go do this dungeon. Need this.
Yeah, but was that fun?
It was. I had a blast because we'd sit there.
You had fun standing in Orgrimmar or whatever your alliance version is.
How many times in Dalaran did you? And I know this was on our server on Zul'jin. We would sit there and scream at each other and argue and yell and put groups together. And then all of a sudden, hey, Mount Parade. All right, we're gonna do a Mount Parade around fucking Dalaran. And we would walk in a circle in a Mount Parade, just being dumb and having a good time. That's the community I'm looking for again.
See, I do remember stuff like that.
The dumb chat. Like, our chat is out of control in WoW now. They talk about the dumbest stuff.
Yeah, they do. But no, yeah, I do. Like, see, I understand in that case. I remember the new. I do like the new tool at the same time. I like that it's easy. Just like, okay, find people. But I do miss that standing in Dalaran, I used to run around in circles for hours, and ended up in Orgrimmar and throwing paper zeppelins at people, and we'd see how many we could gather up, and we'd run around, and you'd have like piles of just zeppelins flying around.
What about the stripper banks? The stripper banks. I mean, you go to the bank in Dal, and everybody's stripped naked.
I mean, in terms of like, I think the LFD tool is better for like finding stuff to do. But I guess this all comes down to the server itself as well, being the phased, merged servers, whatever they call those. I forget the term.
The Connected Realms?
Yeah, the Connected Realms, whatever. But I feel like the realm itself has lost what it's supposed to be, because I can remember, going through in like Vanilla and BC and going through and getting killed by like a warlock, and I'd be like, oh, that's Nin, and I know who it is immediately, and I'd be like, oh, that's that fucker again, and like, come on guys, let's get the whole guild together and we'll go hunt him down, and like we used to do stuff like that. And like or a rogue, I would just like randomly get sapped like in the middle of doing something, and I'd be like, that's Ender, isn't it? And it's like there's this gnome rogue on the alliance, or his name was Ender, and I had a buddy horde side named Ender Vision who raids with me right now. They were 2 totally different people, but so I'd be like, God damn it, Ender, and Ender Vision would be like, what? And I'd be like, not you, whatever. But like as soon as I was sapped, I knew it was Ender, like immediately, and then he would pop out and he'd just wave and he'd run off, and and just be like, and then I'd like go to make another poll, and then all of a sudden, boom, sapped again. I'd be like, God damn it, like but it's like little things like that. So like you used to know, or even just like you'd see somebody go by in like a full tier 3 gear, and you'd be like, oh, that's Edgewalker, the from Paradox on Iridar main tank, and it's just like you knew him just from the gear walking by, and you didn't even have to like see the name and everything. Like people were so recognized and had prestige back then, and you'll never ever ever get to that point with these Connected Realms.
I do miss that because I was in that position during Wrath of the Lich King. I was the top paladin on my server. I was the best geared paladin on my server, and it was, oh, it's that paladin. I was chased around Mumble servers. Oh, actually, it was Vent at the time. Vent servers. I was like, okay, whatever. When I was talking about switching guilds, because it was like I wasn't enjoying myself anymore. I was having some issues. I had people like bribing me, and I was like, wait, calm down. So yeah, I miss though. I do miss. That is one thing I definitely do miss. Is that.
Well,
And that's part of the expanding the community to connect all these realms and everything like that, to get more people to play, to populate the worlds and stuff like that. And because there's so many like that and connected, you're really not going to run into that anymore. And it's sad, because that's one of my favorite memories in this game, is just being able, like, I used to have deals cut with, the Alliance, on our server, where, okay, well, a green dragon is up, let's go kill the green dragon. Okay, but guess what? Our guild showed up. I was in Paradox at the time. Months Behind would show up, who also rated. There was like the industry and whatever, they grouped together. And then there was the Alliance. We had Resolute and I don't remember the name of the other Alliance one. But like, we would get there and it'd be like, okay, well, Resolute's in the middle of an attempt. Instead of us going and killing them, because we'd go, if you went in and killed them, you now started a war. And no one is killing this dragon, because it was so easy to troll the dragons, because you could go in and, like, there was one that if you fell, like, it would put you to sleep, and anybody that was near you would spawn mushrooms, and the mushrooms would keep growing and growing, and it would freeze you, and you couldn't do anything, and you wouldn't. So it was so easy. All you had to do was, as a rogue, you stealth in, you stand between them, you pop out of stealth. You're sacrificing yourself. You're gonna die, but now you just chain mushrooms to the whole group, and they can't do it now, so they're dead. So we had to cut a deal out with the Alliance, where we're like, okay, if you guys are in the middle of attempt, whoever gets there first, whoever polls, has a clean attempt. You guys do whatever you got to do. We won't interfere. So you do it. If you wipe, it's now the next person in turn. So we had like a queue system going on, and it worked out really well. And like, this was a treaty our entire server had, on any world bosses, anything like that. We had a treaty when Silithus was released, and like all the new content there. It's like, Horde doesn't kill the Alliance, whatever, and vice versa, and it worked out really well. It was this awesome system that we had.
I'm absolutely amazed
can't do
right
things
now
like that. Why?
That you were able to have a treaty like that, because when I went back, I decided I was going to go from Zul'jin back to my original server, which was Gorgonash, and it was a PvP server. Man, we were not like that. During MOP, when those world boss spawned, if the Horde got there before us, it was going down. We were taking the Horde out, and we were taking the damn boss with us. But it was so much fun. It was worth it.
But that's with Connected Realms. That's with Connected Realms. You can do that. You can get away with that, because there's other people there to back you up now.
We weren't a Connected Realm, because Stormrage is still a full server, and we're connected now, but we weren't at that point. Mm-hmm. And it was literally, on the forums, you could go read about it. There was just war. It was Horde versus Alliance. And it was an all-out war, and we loved every second of it. And it was great. And, then the server died. So then I moved to Stormrage, found a full server, PvE. But the community, I miss that. And I think they're doing a good job with these tools, like you said, looking for group. I think they're going in the right direction, but how do we get back to that community is my major concern, because I don't think I'm almost at the point where I feel like maybe if we didn't have all these tools, there would be more interaction in the Dollarons, the Stormwinds, the Orgrimmars, of people talking more and communicating, and we would have these large groups doing things still, and we might not have lost some of the older player base who don't like these changes. We might still have 10 million players that we had in Wrath, but there's been so many iterations since then that they just didn't like the changes. I'll give Blizzard a lot of credit. The flex rating was huge, because that merged, your casuals with your more hardcore, where we could teach them, hey guys, this is how you properly do the encounter. Get on Mumble, talk to us, listen to what we got to say. And I think that's the right thing to do. We are breeding a new way to interact now. So I think it's good, and it's going in the right direction.
Yep.
All right, so questing. Questing. As far as the quest line went, absolutely loved it. Absolutely enamored through the entire leveling. Loved every second of it. Had a blast. I don't remember. Mop was really fun to level in. Wrath was because Arthas was always there. But man, they just had some amazing quest lines, you know. Even doing the quest lines to build your garrison and to build your shipyard, they were just beautifully done. The cinematics, the graphics were brought to a whole new level. I mean, I don't know. What do you guys think? I love it. I think it was the best yet.
And I guess you could kind of pair the questing with the storyline too, because they kind of go hand in hand at this point. But like, I don't know. I've seen a lot of people complain that there wasn't much story here, and I think they're out of their fucking minds. Like,
I agree with you. There's so much story.
Yeah, it's maybe not as much as like the main story from Wrath of the Lich King. Like you said, Arthas was literally involved in like every quest chain. And, you know, it's like the Borean Tundra, Arthas, you know, he was there at the very end. Like, he was nowhere in sight, and then all of a sudden he shows up at the end or whatever. But, like, this one, it's not necessarily contributing to the main story, but it's like everything is tied to, like, you and the garrison and your effects of, like, you being there and, like, what you guys have changed and, you know, everything. It's just, I don't know, it's crazy. I think the only thing I didn't enjoy was Tanan Jungle. And to me, because it felt like the Timeless Isle all over again. And I hated the Timeless Isle. I'm probably in the minority, but I hated the Timeless Isle.
Then I must be in the minority. I hated the Timeless Isle too. I didn't want to go. I'm like, I don't want to do this. Because I agree with you with Tanan Jungle. It kind of was separate from everything else with the quest chains. Now, see, I do feel like when I did both sides. So I did the Alliance side and I played through the Horde side. You're running with, you know, big characters from, you know, lore, and you're going through all of this storyline, and I think it's amazing. So I don't know why anyone in the world would be like, I'm like, are you not paying attention to what's going on? Are you not?
I mean, I actually know an Alliance character's name now. You know, that's not like Jaina.
Wow.
Or Khadgar. like Yrel. Like, who the fuck is Yrel? But I know who Yrel is. Like, but I don't know who Yrel is.
If
but
I could do like a clap thing for you right now, I would so do it, because that's amazing.
Right?
That's amazing.
Like, Yrel is a major part of this expansion, but in terms of WoW, who the fuck is Yrel? Like, you know what I mean?
They did some awesome character development in this expansion. They really did. And I mean, just story, like, it still baffles me that people complain that there's not a lot of story here. No way. Because I don't know if you guys did, but I read, was it War Crimes? Is that what the book was called? By Christine Golden? That talked about all Garish's crimes in the trial and him escaping at the very end.
Oh, no, I didn't read it.
I don't remember.
Chat will know. They'll bring it up here in a second. They'll correct me because they're really good at correcting me. But, but I mean, you know, when you finally get to Nagrand and you get on the Thrall storyline and you follow that quest chain to where he has his showdown finally with Garrosh, man, I'm telling you right now, I was watching that cinematic, you know, ending that quest line, and it looked like Thrall was about to get his ass kicked. I was like, oh, damn. And then Thrall's like, you know what? Screw this. I don't give a damn. I'm going to use everything against you. And he made that stone hand come out of the earth, and then the lightning, and I was just like, Thrall's a bad mofo again. Like, that's the Thrall I love and I remember. Where the hell have you been? You know, stop hiding away. Come back to us and be kick-ass.
See, and then like Savannah in chat right now is saying, I don't ever read the quests. I barely do. Maybe if I'm on an alt or whatever, I'll go a little slower sometimes, unless I'm like need to like power run it because I'm trying to get into an alt raid or something like that. But like, I'll spend more time on the alt and read through the quests and kind of. But yeah, on my main, I don't know what the hell's going on when it comes to the quest unless unless there's audio dialogue, you know, or cinematic or something. Because I'll watch all the cinematics. I don't skip those. But like the quest text, I'm not going to sit there and read it all. And at the same time, I feel like it may take away from development time and stuff like that. But I feel like WoW should have audio in their quests.
Well, let me
Like
throw this out
not
there.
not audio where you have to be at the quest guy and sit there and listen to him and it stands and it talks, but like quest dialogue where you can pick it up and start running away and it'll go on and you can skip it, kind of like Diablo. You know how like Diablo you'll pick up a book on the ground or whatever. It reads the thing for you,
Yep.
you know? And you have the option, you can close it if you want. There's the little X you could click, but you could keep running, you know? And I like that.
But that's what's funny. They it's not just Diablo they do it in either. They do it in Destiny.
Hmm.
Every quest is a cinematic, or your ghost is telling you what's going on as you run around. Like
Right.
they already do that in their other games. I don't know why they have not incorporated it.
So what you're saying is that World of Warcraft needs a companion to come along and narrate things to you.
I'm cool. You can have my just
So-
give me my ghost from Destiny, and I'll
so-
run around with that.
Just
Okay.
give us Navi from Linked Ocarina of Time.
Okay.
Everybody
Listen,
will love that.
Listen. Oh.
Everybody loves
Or
Navi.
let's look at SWTOR. Every quest
Oh,
is
man.
a full. You know, you're
Well, that's why I said not to stand at the quest giver and listen to every word they had to say. Something that goes while you're running away.
I think it would be absolutely amazing, and I think it's the right thing to do going forward. Like this time, I spent more time this expansion. I think I pretty much read every quest I did when I first leveled, because I was super interested to see where this lore was going to go. It wasn't your typical. We kind of went off the rails with a different timeline, and it kind of threw everything through a loop. And I wanted to know how this is going to affect us. So it was important to me to read those quests. And besides Lich King, I really haven't read any quests. The Lich King, I read all the quests because Arthas was always there, and you're always like, this scumbag keeps showing up. You know, and this time, I wanted to know because, you know, I was waiting. What's the dragon's name? Deathwing's son. I can't think of it.
Rathian?
Rathian. I wanted to know if Rathian was going to show up, which eventually he did. You know, what the hell? Rathian's been on Draenor? What's he been doing? Been hiding from us? What you doing
He
over
He
there?
has.
Sneaky.
He has been.
Sneaker.
He's currently he's mentioned in Admiral Taylor's garrison in the journal if you actually read through that. But once again, you have to read it. It's not
Yes.
going to read it for you. And then he's in the very tail end of the legendary ring quest, and you have to really look for him because he's easy to miss.
Yeah, he's just a little teeny tiny whelpling flying away, which I find funny because he's been around long enough now. You'd think he'd be bigger than a whelpling at this point.
I mean,
Dragons age longer.
yeah, in terms of story, I think he's what, 2 years old, 3 years old at most. I don't know how
Yeah.
long it's been since Cataclysm.
It's been
Not in
at
terms
least
of
4 years.
Well, that's in terms of the release. I'm talking about in game time,
Like, yeah.
because game time does not pass the same
No.
as expansion releases, as you can very well tell by Anduin's age.
Yeah, well, I mean, he
Anduin
looks
was like 9 years old for 10 years.
And all of a sudden you became, oh, look, I'm a teenager.
Yeah.
look at me, I've got spells. So, I mean, the
I was a
story.
heartthrob in Legion.
Oh man. Oh god, this is what we're gonna have to deal with next expansion. B's heartthrob
So-
is now Anduin.
No, it's
So
not.
is Anduin the Justin Bieber of WoW?
Yes.
Oh my god. Can we get a moving logo that says Anduin and B something getting married maybe?
Nope.
We can have a
No.
big in-game
No,
wedding.
see, I don't see B as being a huge Justin Bieber fan. She's more on that 1D.
No.
One Direction, not
Yeah.
not the other D.
Yeah.
I know what you meant, but I don't think B did because
No,
she
I
looked
knew
baffled as shit.
Exactly what he meant.
Not the other DB.
50 Shades of Shadow
DB?
Priest Anduin.
Put the D in the B.
No, see, no.
So yeah, story was
The
The
amazing.
D in B's B.
Oh man.
Oh, wow.
Did they ever find a replacement for Zane yet?
I don't know, B.
Is that his name, Zane? I think it is.
What are we talking about? What are you talking about?
We're talking about the D.
Oh.
I think
Okay,
his name is
so
You're asking me questions I have fucking no idea because I don't pay attention to any of that shit.
B's going off the rails, everybody. So, story was amazing. Questing was amazing. We got some reemergence of some characters that have been missed.
Oh no,
I guess-
Thaders, don't you dare compare Arthas to Anduin. That's some bullshit.
Ooh.
Arthas is in a whole nother fucking level.
Bang, bang, shots fired.
It's about to go down.
Mm-mm.
Yeah,
Watch
his
your
name is
Twitters.
Zane.
Twitter war
Zane.
coming. Twitter war incoming. So, let's leave the show like this. What are you most looking forward to transitioning from Warlords to Legion? Dom.
The transmog system. Completely like out in left field, the transmog system, because I'm really hoping it's something like the Diablo system where it's going to allow you to unlock patterns, whatever, so I can clear everything out of my bank.
Okay.
Oh yes.
I just don't want things in my bank anymore, and I have no bag room. But then at the same point,
Some Dalaran sewers.
Them dollar on sewer though.
at the same point, I feel like my bank is not going to move because I have a lot of stuff from Vanilla WoW that was removed from the AQ Scepter quest chain, like all the different rewards, like the turban that you could get from there, and you know some of the other things. And then there was everything from like the original Nax, and I still have my set pieces from ZG. You know, the ZG was completely uprooted. Like the rogue, I have the trinket from the rogue set and all that. So
Apparently, chat's more excited for dollar on sewers. They just want you to talk about dollar on sewers.
Like fuck you guys, I'm out.
All right, B. So, besides the dollar on sewers, what are you looking forward to during
Oh,
the
shit.
transition to the next expansion? What's
I want no shit in my bags. That'd be awesome. I'm horrible. My pack rat from hell. I think I'm with Draven on this. I'm all about story. I'm all about lore. So I want to see how is the pre-event going to lead into into the next expansion. How is this going to work? Are we going to get to see our heroes start to falter? Are we going to see deaths, if that is possible? You know, what's going to happen? That's what I'm looking forward to. The new stuff. What new stuff?
my thing I'm most excited for? Is seeing Blizzard prove me right that Khadgar is burning Legion and watching Jaina whip his ass.
No, Jaina's with him. Remember?
No.
Jaina's-
Jaina's going to kill him. She's going to kill him, and I'm going to love her forever. Jaina 2016. She might make her way down to Dollar on Sewers every once in a while too.
I needed a drink after that.
I want to see her crazy. I want to see Jaina go crazy. I want to see her go full out, just start blowing everything the fuck up.
See, Draven just said it, and I've already predicted this. Tyrion's going to die, and I think I'm going to be heartbroken when they kill him off. It's just going to be a sad day. He's been the crusader for us for so long now, and it's going to be sad.
Yeah, because I definitely don't see him faltering. I see a death.
He won't. He's not going to be the character that falters and doesn't think he can do something. He will trust the light to lead him wherever he has to go, and if it means him dying, he'll do it. That's just his personality. That's how he's been built up. That's the way he's evolved into this gigantic leader for us. Regardless if you're Horde or Alliance, he is the pinnacle of the light.
What would you do if Thrall was actually a dragon?
Wait, what?
If Thrall's a dragon, I think I will throw the whole game out the window at that
Look at
point.
his face. I don't like anything he says because it's like he gives his face like I know shit.
But I mean, Thrall can't be a dragon because he's already been the Earth Warder.
Right, that's my point.
But he can't turn into a dragon.
What if they make him a dragon?
But what
How in the hell is
other-
Alexstrasza gonna make him a dragon? Please
What other
explain.
aspect? What other aspect have you seen that was not a dragon? Thrall is the only one.
Yeah, he is the only one, and
Why?
he was only allowed to be. They only gave him that position for the Cataclysm because he was the only one truly
Because he's
in
a
tune.
dragon.
No, it's because he was the only one truly in tune with the shamanistic side and able to actually speak to the earth. Hence, they had to keep putting the dirt into his hand to keep him connected, so Deathwing couldn't kill him.
See, he's Thrall's one of the ones I think would falter. Would be one of the ones that something's bad's gonna happen and he's gonna falter.
You think it's Thrall? You think he's gonna drop Doomhammer?
He's already kind of been a little every once in a while he gets a little meh. So I
Vol'jin's
just
the war chief now, so
Well,
yeah,
I hate to say this, but I think Vol'jin might be one of the ones to falter this expansion.
no way.
no.
He's got to have a drop down and he's got to have a build up, because eventually we are going to see the expansion where the trolls come back after him. There has to be an up and down because Vol'jin needs to really show, regardless of what happens, he's going to stand tall as the war chief. He needs
Well, I
to
did
get
see-
knocked down and picked back up. He's got to. It's got to happen.
What is he, Chumbawamba?
Yeah, he is. You didn't know that?
Knock down, get up again.
That's his theme song. You didn't know that? But he's got to have that. You know, we need that to happen to him. It's got to be a major event that completely affects him, regardless of how bad it is. I mean, yeah, they stabbed him in the throat, but that was Garrosh. That was before he was the war chief. Now he needs to show that he can stand tall and lead everybody in the Horde. Is he really your war chief right now? Do you feel like he's really the war chief?
No, I do definitely see him being brought up. I definitely see that we're gonna definitely have a very big storyline with him, because they do need to push him. I mean, we did get his own book, which is awesome, but yeah, he needs to be pushed.
Well, I think we got distracted with Draenor, because Draenor is not Azeroth, and Khadgar kind of led the way for this one, and rightfully so, because
Burning Legion.
we've dealt with a lot of Horde story, so it was time that the Alliance needed, some major figure, because Thrall led us in Cataclysm, and kind of, I don't know what the hell was going on in Pandaria.
Is that Dance Off, Savannah, in the Dalaran sewers by chance?
And then they're gonna give us the
No, but Vol'jin has been out of the picture. We were on Draenor. He's not there. He's doing whatever he's got to do.
Yes, he is there. He was in your garrison.
I don't talk to him.
He gave you some of the most important quests during the entire expansion.
I didn't pay attention to that. He's just a tall, lanky troll that stands in my garrison. I don't know who he is. No, but
for the Horde.
He's got a lot of work to do on Azeroth. So anything that he's been doing in Draenor is kind of I don't really care, to be completely honest. Khadgar is the one I was interested in. He's the one turning into crows. He's the one that matters. When we leave Draenor and we go back to the Azeroth, we go back to now we're going to be in the Broken Isles and whatever. It's going to be weird because I don't see Vol'jin taking up shop in Dalaran.
But he is taking up shop in Dalaran. He is taking over the Kirin Tor. We already know that. He is taking over the Kirin Tor.
Is he?
Yes.
I don't remember reading that.
They already said that. Yeah, he's...
Yeah.
It was a slip by Alex Fabarazzi at the Gamescom announcement. He said Khadgar comes in, takes over the Kirin Tor, and Jaina leaves pissed off.
No, Khadgar does. I'm talking about Vol'jin.
Oh, Vol'jin, sorry.
Yeah, I was Vol'jin taking over the Kirin Tor.
Well, you
does
start
not
talking
make
about
sense.
Khadgar. You start talking about Khadgar. You're
no, but
confusing
I'm
me
saying
now.
Vol'jin just seems
I'm
weird.
pretending
he's
to
not
be
gonna-
B.
He's not going to take up shop in Dalaran, so I don't really know what's going to go on with Vol'jin, but he needs a story arc. He needs something, a major thing. He needs a Wrathgate-style questline involving him.
Yes, I agree. On a serious note, guys, I know I made my joke about Khadgar earlier, but what I'm really looking forward to is I want to know what has gone on in Azeroth. Well, every leader of the Horde and Alliance has been gone. We all up and left. There is nobody there but a bunch of peons running around in Orgrimmar. Who knows what the hell they did to Orgrimmar? There are a bunch of lumberjacks running around controlling freaking Stormwind.
Falling asleep.
I mean, Jaina's not in control of the Kirin Tor right now because she's been with us, so what the hell were they doing? Dalaran's just floating around, moving magically wherever the hell it wants to go, apparently.
In chat, real quick, Skeets343 says, I wonder how Khadgar got Atiyesh. The last time we had any knowledge of where Atiyesh was, Madan had it. Madan has been since retconned out of the story somehow, and Khadgar just has it because of retcon.
All right, so I've said this before on stream. I'm just going to go ahead and throw it back out there one more time, and Dom's going to get super mad. But again...
If you tell me that Madan is in the Dalaran sewers, I'm never coming on the show.
Madan is in the Dalaran sewer. No. Khadgar... Look, guys, I've talked about this. Khadgar is Burning Legion. I think he was corrupted through all the visions he saw in Karazhan. I'm you know, and this is just me speculating, but I truly believe that Khadgar killed Madan. He took Atiyesh and he walked away, and he doesn't really give two damns about us. He's doing what he has to do to finish his mission. It's about him. It's not about us. So whatever plan he had,
Madan is actually dead.
There is, but
he comes back multiple times.
Yes.
Soap opera.
And you can't say the comics. Yeah, that's not canon. The comics aren't canon. Madan is in game. He is the last guardian. He is canon. Period. Madan was killed by Khadgar. That son of a gun is Burning Legion, and Jaina's gonna stick it to him.
God, what is this?
Oh God, I don't even want to open that.
What is that? Oh, I don't even know it. Who is that? I don't know what that is.
So, let's go ahead and throw this out there. Jake did ask the question, what happened with the mouse? All right, guys. So we did a mouse giveaway last week. Last week's episode, we've had trouble posting it to our YouTube account, so we are extending it out for another week. We ask that everybody goes back that hasn't been able to participate. Go watch the episode. It should be up sometime tomorrow. Answer the questions, tweet them in at us so we can throw everybody into a magical giant hat and figure out who's going to win during next week's show. That way it's still fair. It's still going to give everybody a fair chance. Even Illidan, who responded to us on Twitter, and then he got lazy and said he was too busy to finish watching the episode. So, Illidan, this is your chance. So go get the rest of the questions there, buddy.
Illidan was not prepared.
He was not prepared. All right. So, Dom, where can we find you?
Walking off the show because I'm not in the Dalaran series. You can find me there at XIZTA with an underscore. You can also find me on Twitch, Xizta without the underscore, where I stream absolutely nothing but Mario Maker. And find me on YouTube at youtube.com/ASOTV podcast, where I do 9 billion, jillion, gazillion, because that's a number, podcasts a day.
Can you give us a sneak peek into this week's SGG episode?
Okay, so this week's SGG episode, which will be airing this Tuesday, 9:30 Eastern, will be a Super Mario Maker episode where we will build a level live on stream with everyone in chat. So everyone in chat will have input, and it's going to be insane.
Sweet. And B, where can we find you?
At Huffy Puffy, HUFFITYPUFFITY. Not at Bria, because I'm retarded.
I'm glad you said it so we didn't.
You mean at Murloc Mounter.
At Murloc Mounter.
Anyway.
If you haven't followed Murloc Mounter, you guys need to go do it. Murloc Mounter is her new Twitter handle. She's posting amazing Murloc pictures. And next week, we will have her amazing picture she's been drawing for 4 weeks at that point.
Now I have to actually push that shit.
And as always, you can find me at Terinn23 on the Twitters. You can also find me on Twitch. I stream regularly at Terinn23. Also, big week for Destiny, and we're going to have a launch party on the SGG. It'll also be streamed over. I'll host myself off of SGG. And at 4 a.m. CST, the Taken King launches. So, really looking forward to that. I'll also be getting my PlayStation in, and we'll be doing an unboxing of
Wait, what?
the PlayStation.
What?
Yes, I'm getting the pretty PlayStation that's Destiny, and that's the only reason I bought the thing.
Hold on.
But I'm pretty sure somewhere in my PlayStation the Dalaran sewers exist.
Wait. I have to make sure my ears are good. You said you bought a PlayStation.
Yes, I did. Because I am better than you in every way. I'm man enough to own both systems.
So PlayStation, we won.
No, you
We
didn't
won.
win.
We
You
won.
didn't
It's
win.
a victory.
It's a victory for
Terinn-
Destiny. For
Terinn
Destiny.
got a PlayStation before I got an Xbox. Therefore, we win, PlayStation users.
Except you're going to be into Dalaran Sewers.
No, because I'm going to be playing a Demon Hunter, so it's okay.
This is the expansion where Dom's forced to switch classes finally. No, Thadris, again, learn to spell my name, and PS4 is not better than Xbox.
Unless you're playing Destiny.
It's already been stated. If you go pick up the latest issue of, oh God, well, I saw it at the airport today. It's one of the new gaming magazines. It said Xbox will rule 2016. Quantum Break. What's some other games you looking forward to in 2016, Dom, that come out on the Xbox? I'm sure there's another one. There's another big one, isn't there?
Scalebound.
Yeah, just saying.
We're going to have another Xbox One in this house. That would be 3? Oh.
Well, the show so far is leaning towards Xbox. 2-1.
Have a good night, guys.
All right, guys. Thank you for watching. We do appreciate you coming by as always. We love the Dalaran sewer jokes. Keep them coming. If you have any questions, feel free to tweet at any of us. Tweet at SGG, at Serious Gents. Hit us up. Let us know what you're thinking. Even if it's about the Dalaran sewers, we'll be okay to answer those too. Or you can just tweet them directly to at Xizta with an underscore at the end of it. Let me get that correct. With the underscore. And on Twitch, if you want to hit them up in Twitch chat about Dalaran sewers, it's without an underscore. So it's just twitch.tv/Xizta without the underscore. So we're good to go there. And at Huffity Puffity, go ahead and tweet her at Murloc Mounter. Again, thank you for watching. You guys are amazing, and we always appreciate you. And make sure you hang out. We will be playing our normal game as soon as the stream is done. You guys have a great night. Say bye. Bye.
Bye.
No.